and now working 3 times. Oh. Today, I am going to talk about the 10 cultural shock I've had since I was an international student in New Zealand. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This week, different from my previous videos, I will be sitting here with you, do a little chat. To make myself feel cozy, I've made myself a peppermint tea. So if you're watching, you can go make yourself a tea or a hot chocolate and let's dive into it. Background details about myself. I was born and raised in Taiwan and I came here when I was 16 years old. I'm now turning 25, so it has been 9 years since I'm here. That is actually crazy. But yeah, I have done my high school here, uni here, and now working full-time 3 years. So yeah, I do think I have a little say in what I've experienced, and there's no right or wrong. I don't prefer or hate either of them. I just thought it would be interesting to share with you and see if you can also relate to me. Okay, let's start. The first one, of course, as a high schooler, it was very obvious for me that the workload and the whole school system was just so different. I was so used to going to school from 7 a.m. all the way up to 5 p.m. and maybe go for cram school or further night study classes until 9 p.m. and then you'll go home. Very, very typical school day in Taiwan. You start from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. And then I came here and it was just so new to me how you have only 6 hours of school hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I had to study all 8 or 9 subjects, I can't really remember, when I was in Taiwan. But as soon as I came here, because I was year 11, so then I can pick what I want already. So like I didn't have to do my science anymore. I hated science. I am so jealous at people who can do it really well because I cannot. But yes, I could just take it off and put in something like design or music. That was just so new to me, and you only have 5 subjects overall. That was really, really new to me. So yeah, that was my first shock. Of course, going to school, figure out the second cultural shock that I have. That's the meals. In Taiwan, the typical lunches at school, you will just have to bring your lunchbox, and then the meals will be included in your tuition fee. So you would have these big chunk of meal boxes. I don't really know how to baskets, and one basket would be rice, the other one would be meat, veggie, and then the soup. So that's a very common way of doing lunches back in Taiwan. And then as soon as I came here, I realized everyone bring their own lunches. Like that was so crazy to me. The dedication, it was crazy. I used to live with my auntie and she would pack our lunches. So I was very, very lucky. But that's when I figured the side cultural shock was that I would have the whole meal of my rice and then my salmon or some sort of protein. That would be my lunch, and then I'll still have a morning tea on the side, which will be snacks or fruit, etc. And then I would see a lot of my friends. It was just so common that people would only have an apple for lunch or just some cracker and tuna, and that could last them the whole day. Like until today, I don't know how you do it. That's not enough for my lunch. That's not even enough for my snacks. It was just very, very interesting for me. So yeah, that was my second cultural shock. I quickly realized that sports are a lot promoted than music here than in Taiwan. Not saying Taiwan don't really do sports, we do, but I think it's not as common that people have their own sports to play. Whereas here you would hear people after school, they'll probably go for tennis, they'll go for netball, they'll go for soccer, etc. They have their own sports. I think it's more common for them to have their own sports. But back in Taiwan, I think it was more common for people to be learning instruments instead, like piano, violin, or even guitar. It was just very common there. And then the fourth cultural shock I had was my teacher telling me that I should address them only by their first name. So there was no teacher Shirley, teacher Ross. It was just, hi Shirley. Like that was very new to me. It just feels like the hierarchy between students and teacher were not that big, I can also discuss a lot of my thinking with them, feeling like we're having a fair discussion instead of a yes or no kind of conversation. That was cool to me because definitely compared to here, it was a lot more hierarchical between students and teacher back in Taiwan. So that was really interesting to me. Also, just let me know if I'm wrong because I've been here for 9 years. It might be very different in Taiwan now. But yes, that was my experience only. The fifth one I had was the complimenting culture and the sarcastic joke culture. So what I mean by that was people here make friends and greet people, bond with them, mostly by complimenting people. For example, I like your outfit, I love your shoes, etc. You look really good today. It's just such a natural way for you to have a conversation. But in Taiwan, people tend to be more reserved in compliments, especially when you don't really know people. I also think that in Taiwan, at least in my experience, you kind of make friends with people by making sarcastic jokes. Like the more you joke about it, it feels like you guys are closer even. I was very used to being called chubby and then I came here and I realized no one called people chubby, but it was just a thing there. I didn't feel offended as well. It was just very natural, I guess. So yeah, that was another one. Up to our sixth one. The sixth one was the shop closing hours. I was so confused when I came here. Like, what do you mean? Shops are closing at 6 p.m. and not opening at all on Sundays. How does that work? Do people not want money? That was my thought. Because in Taiwan, I was so used to just be able to run around a 7-Eleven, which opens 24/7, and department stores opening till 10 p.m. every day. I was just so used to this. It shocked me so much when I heard that shops are no longer open after 6 p.m. What do you mean? That was my reaction. But yes, I think that's also why a lot of the people here rest really early, like 9 p.m. compared to, I think Taiwan is more of a night society where mostly people go to bed 11, 12-ish. That was interesting for me to find out. But yes. Next one is the pedestrian rights. I feel like a king walking on the street here. Like, what do you mean the car just stopped 100 meters away from me just to let me pass? That never used to happen when I was in Taiwan. I had to, either risk, run, or I just have to let the car go first. In Taiwan, if there's no lights, the cars normally don't have to stop at the crossing line. But I think more and more, I heard there are rules implementing in Taiwan, enhancing the pedestrian rights. So I really hope that comes through, because every time I go back to Taiwan now, I'm just so not used to it. I just thought the cars would let me go, but they won't. The next one, I don't think it is a cultural shock, but I just found it too interesting that I have to share that. Why do people here love walking in your bare feet? Like, even on the hard road outside where car drives, you can walk in bare feet without pain, without burning. Like, how does that work? Your feet are just built different. I tried it once, I burnt my feet. And the next one is the cold water. So before I came, I heard about how people here drink more ice water than warm water. Okay, that's what I heard. So I kind of have the expectation of the ice water already, which is true. Everyone tend to drink more ice water. But I didn't know that people don't really drink warm water at all, even when you're sick or when you're having period cramps. That was so interesting to me. So I only realized this when I was in uni, flirting with my friends, and my friend was asking me if I have a hot water bottle. So in my mind, I was thinking this hot water bottle, which, it keeps your water warm whole night, so you can have your warm water whenever you want. No, they were not asking about that because they don't want just water in a water bottle. They were asking for this that they use on your cramp belly. My friend would ask me why I would have just hot water. Like, that was abnormal. Like, really? I was always taught to have warm water to not get sick. But maybe that's not the case. Maybe I just got brainwashed. Last but not least, the shower time. Me and my boyfriend, we have this debate all the time. He is a Kiwi. Before he meets me, he only showers in the morning and I only shower at night. So our reasoning, we had this debate, and his reasoning is that you have to wake up all fresh and clean before you go. And you know, you might sweat when you sleep, and they don't want that when they leave, which is fair enough. But my reasoning is that you're out the whole day, you'll be covered in some sort of germs or dust. You wash it off before you go into your bed. But yeah, we have this debate. He is now showering twice a day. I'm really curious, what's your reasons behind that? I want to hear about it. So yeah, that was my 10 cultural shocks I've had since I've been here. And let me know if you can relate or if there's more. I want to hear about it. Thank you for watching up to here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!